My name is Shauna Lee. This is Infinity Readings, and this will be your energy report for October 21st of 2025. So as we get going here, sorry, I got a lozenge in my mouth. That can be annoying, but I thought I'd warn you. Okay, so we're going to get straight into the cards. Yeah, I am under Metatron. Metatron and me, we made up a card deck. They wanted me to use it at this time. So we've still got the above cards, but the rest are my Infinity Geometry cards. So we're going to go from there. So the first card that we have from the Infinity Geometry is the heptagram. The macrocosm, and talking about celestial magic. Now, whenever I see this, sevens, right? And I attribute sevens to be a lucky number for me. A lot of people do. And usually when I get the sevens, guided from above, it's congratulations, or I want to shake your hand, or excitement, because there's something here that's been accomplished to a high degree that is in favor of the universal flow. When we're talking about micro and macro, right? The micro is the individual self here on the earth, and the macro is like the celestial realm, right? So when we're talking about celestial magic, we're going to get into some stuff here. Basically, we're talking about miracles from above, right? And not only will it be mind-blowing for us to accept or see or perceive, but it could go completely unnoticed to certain people who don't have these belief systems that add up to all of this magical realm of stuff, right? Because if you're not on that spiritual level, you just won't absorb this stuff. So we're talking about all that stuff that is unseen. And not only that, unseen, but also magical, right? And not from a 3D human point of view, but from a celestial point of view, magic. So that's beyond what? Things like doctors saying, I don't know what happened. They had the tumor, now it's gone. This kind of stuff. This is what we're talking about. Celestial magic. So this is the realm that I sit in here. I was waiting for this stuff to come through. So that's the first card that we get. It's a warning shot. There's some celestial magic happening. There's some celestial magic that's going to be witnessed by some people. And there's going to be some celestial magic that's going to be overlooked by some as well. So as we move forward here, the heptagram sits. And it lays the foundation for the rest of the cards. So the next card that we have is the Star of David. Don't you know? Glory, perseverance. Look at these stars coming here. When I think of that, right, because I'm Metatron, I think of the Merkaba, right? Because in actuality, in that 3D realm, it's kind of like a star in all ways, right? So they're emphasizing that. And when I did some research here, having to do with that, we're talking about Merkaba type energy. It means the physical vessel coming in line with the celestial vessel, and and all that encompasses. Now, one of the things they made me aware of before this reading was that in order for the celestial vessel to encompass the physical vessel, we really do have to expand. And I don't know if this is exactly what they're talking about, Kundalini awakening and all that stuff. I feel like that's kind of, I don't know how to express. It's kind of on the fringe of stuff that I absorb myself into. I just never really got caught up in that Kundalini stuff. And though I've heard about it and read about it, and sometimes people say, well, it's dangerous, really what it comes down to symbolize to me is that's the universal flow trying to unravel in your life. And if you push it at any direction, then yes, it could be fatal. And in this way, when we're talking about energetic healing, which is ultimately what they want you to do in the physical vessel, is heal energetically enough to let that God sense in whatever way that you perceive it. And the vibration has to match to a certain degree, to a high degree, it has to match. So in essence, we have to perfect ourselves on the physical earth in order to be that perfect vessel for it to sit into, that Merkaba, if you will, right? So in order to do that, we have to clean up our own mess. And that's addictions. That can be, man, there's so many levels to it. It's all these things that can block you. And the sense they were giving me is it can be achieved on the physical plane. It can be, but there's not many that do that. And if they do, they cease to exist on the physical plane because they've vibrated to a frequency they can transcend, right? So this is those people that do the rainbow thing, the rainbow body thing, this kind of stuff, monks, that it's a profession for them to clean their aura, their cleanse, all that stuff. That's what they spend their whole entire lives doing. And it takes that long. So any rushing of that can hinder the performance and the ability for you to accept this God-given right, if you will, this celestial stuff from coming in. Now, yeah, okay, we're getting into stuff. Give me a moment here. Yeah, the glory and the perseverance. See, the thing is, we need to be in a glorious state of mental, physical, and emotional body in order to, line up with things. Now, I've had a lot of information coming at me at an alarming rate where I feel like there's no veil anymore here. Like, I'm wondering who else is feeling this. So feel free. I don't have the numbers, but feel free if you are feeling this or want to communicate it. I get a lot of people not wanting to communicate where they're at, which is fine. Don't go against your instinct. But if you are finding this, let me know. Because there's a lot of energy for communication from the celestial realms to the physical realms that we hold on Earth. There is a lot of information going. Again, there's because of the level that you may be at, having to do with self-healing, self-acceptance, all this stuff. It can be interpreted as a block if we do not clear these areas up. And I know sometimes I think I got things figured out and then I realize I don't, because there becomes a physical block that you just can't deny, because it's a physical thing you can't get past. And then you work on things and then whoop, what do you know? That door opens up and away you go. So anyway, right in the center here, we have the Star of David, and we started with celestial magic. And the Star of David, I feel like is that energy coming on the earth to mix and mingle with the people, that energy of purification to come down. Now, in the last reading, I touched on the Three-Eye Atlas. I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, I'm going to leave that till later. So we have the Star of David here. It speaks to purity, a glory, a perseverance of coming through things. And from last week to this week, there would need to be that perseverance in order to get through that heavy fog. Unfortunately, we're in a week of scattered thunderstorms here, where there's strikes. They're showing me, and I was feeling like, okay, what's the weather report this week? Well, it's those strikes of energy coming. And I had worked out in my instinct what I thought that was, and I went over with my guides, and they're like, yes, this would make sense to view it in such a way. And what I came up with was, if we're having thunderstorms energetically, that means there's strikes of negative energy that can harm coming out of the energetic field. Now, who would that affect? That would affect negative people most highly, because they're an attractant, right? They're in a negative frequency, so they're going to attract that strike. And also, those who are trying to avoid karma will get struck down by this most violently, because the word they said there was hard and fast. And the card that we had 2 readings back, the essence of expect the unexpected. So those that are of negative frequency, who are trying to avoid karma, this is where the thunderstorms are going to be very devastating for those in this field. Okay, I'll leave it there. Now, as we move into the future-ish kind of energy here as we get into the next week, again, I'll do these until I'm told not to do them anymore. The Star of David brings us to the next card, which is the Egg of Life. Okay, acceleration. 3D music. Keep an eye on your 3D universe for signals of communication from higher above. Take note of what you ask for in your dream state, in your waking state, in your prayer. What are we asking for? Because the answers are coming at you, and they may come instantaneously. That's the word they just gave me. With an instant, like again, that veil is kind of removed. It's like we're shaking hands with everything here, and it's coming out to give you the answer. Like the other day, oh man, there was a lot of stuff coming down all at once, and then I said, whoa, that's enough. Like I got, whoa, like enough. And basically what was happening was I got code words for my guides coming at me in ways I could never have imagined. I got answers like 1, 2, 3, 4, like literally seconds apart from each other. And I was like, oh, okay, whoa. And then I was like, wait a minute, and then you gotta fine tune that. And then you gotta sit and think and digest it and then let it waft over you. Like I didn't have time. It was just all boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, this is really what you can do, isn't it? You can be instantaneous, absolute, and foreboding all at the same time. So it was interesting, and that's the acceleration they're talking about. Like you may have to wait, 2-3 days for an answer. In the past, you may pray for things. As those people that are in, sorry, I had a lot of caffeine today. People that are in like the, what do you call that? The law of attraction and stuff like that. Like you'd have to wait a week or a couple days. No, we're no waiting no more, because these answers are coming quicker, faster, harder. And again, those on the wrong side of tracks, they're going to have quicker, faster, harder things come at them as well. Okay? So that needs to be noted. Now, the Egg of Life, it just kind of keeps dividing and keeps moving. And music accelerates that on the 3D plane. And I'm also getting a lot of inspiration now. All this vibrational stuff is starting to come to the forefront, having to do with music and frequencies and healing within the frequencies. Yay. This is going to be accepted by the end of next year. We're going to have an understanding of this in a different capacity than we are just tapping into at this moment. So this is great and wonderful news. Now, those are the 3 Metatron cards. We're going to get into the above cards, which is above that yet. Because as they show me, with as much as I can take at this point, the realms, there's like an angelic realm of your, kind of like your higher self, and those that kind of keep you on the straight and narrow. Then there's this angelic shelf, and then there could be a lot more levels, but I'm just not aware of them at this time. And then there's like that God head or whatever it is, that all-consuming energy. And again, less detail I have, the better. So that's way above. And it's not very often I deal with that. How do you say it? It's an oxymoron here I'm going to lay. But it's not very often you deal with that directly, yet it is always there running in the background. Like that fan, you don't know it's off until it's off, because it's just a hum that's there. So it's hard to explain, but I deal more with this angelic realm than I do, but it's not because I'm released from it. It's just, that's how it rolls, right? There's a a chain of command here. It's like you deal with the supervisor, then you deal with the boss, right? This kind of thing. So let's get in the second role. This is talking about the boss. This is the boss's realm. This is the energy that he wants to get across to you guys, to us. The heptagram, talking about the macrocosm, celestial magic. Again, the energy I get here is we are coming down to be seen. Okay? So the angelic, above the angelic realm, we have the chariot. I love that this carries through. We have some of the same cards that carry through from the last reading. 7, the chariot, talks to transformation on the card, but it's talking about conscious decisions. And again, being conscious, being aware and awake, and knowing what these realms are capable of. There's some people that just they don't know it exists. So they don't live that way, so they block it out inadvertently, right? But they're going to be exposed to miraculous things they can't explain. And this may be, some of them may be doctors, some of them may be, a lot of them in the health or psychological fields. They're going to see transformations, rehabilitations, things that almost are instantaneous, and it's unfathomable. Unfathomable. I can't get that word, but that's what they're giving me in quotation marks. Like, no, this can't happen. So there's gonna be some confusion here. I don't know if this is, I get the sense that this is happening to certain people in certain fields already, where it's like, no, there's got to be another answer here. Like something else is going on here. And we got to find out what that is. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be shooting off in directions, wasting energy when the answer is the first instinct that you get. And you overlook that and you go another way. So there's going to be some wasted energy here is what I'm getting. Okay. I won't go too far down that road. Yeah, there's going to be miraculous answers in science and medical fields here that just use your instinct, man. Use your instinct. You got it. If you're here, you've got something of it. And use that as you continue forward, because we know that there's, you're going to have the Nike and then you're going to have the knockoff, right? You're going to have the shoe that costs 120 and then you're going to have the one that costs 60. And you got to figure that out on a gut level. Nobody's going to tell you that for real. So you're going to have to search your soul for those answers. Okay, so that's the celestial magic. There's good transformation that's trying to sweep over here from above, if you will. It's definitely from above. It's just what above. Above us, for sure. And there's conscious decisions that we have to make. And don't be wowed. Don't let them wow you with the sparkle, the glitter. All that glitters is not gold. This is what they're telling me. We got to use our guts in order to divide the world into two separate parts, because we are on the road. But if we keep choosing the wrong lane, we're going to end up falling into that plane of existence. Okay, that's they're saying, quote. So I'll go no further. Star David right in the center here, talking about that energy of perseverance. We are talking about a week here, but we're going to be slowly extending that time. But it seems like this energy is smacking a week of time. And it's catching up, and, the chariot's reminding me, yes, we're going from the energy we just came from into, it may not be as foggy, but there's going to be shocking strikes, no less. And for those with high karmic repercussions, right? So on top of that Star of David, what do we get from the higher ups? We get the Mother of Earth. Would you know? Mother Earth. I want to say that. Rich harvest is attached to this. The universal flow, the Mother Earth, will put it at that, because this is what the card is saying. They want you to have everything at your fingertips to heal in order for those universal energies to come and collide with you, but in the best possible way, and to merge with your energy. Now, got to be careful here because along with that, there's on the negative. There's a negative plane here. There's a flip of a coin. There's the positive side and the negative side. That wants to do this as well, but this is after the transformation factor, which means those of high karmic. So those in heavy negative fields in the past here that will be reaping karma, okay, at this time in this week. It could literally be this week, or whenever you come across this and read it, it will be within that time frame. Now, Mother Earth is, look at the seriousness of this woman's face. She's pretty. It's just easy to look at, right? And the fields gold lush. And the clouds are clear. It's a clear day per se. There's clouds, but it's not foreboding. It's not. And that's the sense they're giving me, is we want to clear away all the darkness and make it a rich harvest. And the thing here is that there are, right? There's things that are, how would I word it? There's things going on in the universe that are not allowing a rich harvest for every human being on the earth. They're actually taking and stealing, pillaging from others, right? So this is the line of Mother Earth shutting these systems down, okay, from the top. I'm getting this again, but again, evidence. But evidence is starting to show here on my end anyway, of a better day. But it is pretty dark energy that I feel like I perceive, I think, more than the average bear. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of other people that are perceiving in this way. And it would just be more and more of yous feeling that wave, okay? That there's more going on here than we can see visually with our own eyes. We're going to sense it with our psychic senses. So Mother Earth is in the center of this reading, and she gets what she wants. She enforces the rules. So we'll just leave it at that. As we go forward to the Egg of Life, again, look to music and acceleration. Yes, I will expand on this in the next part of this reading, because they were giving me some musical stuff, and I'll let you know what that was. People are telling on themselves through music, and the thing is, we're just kind of singing these things and not listening to what's being said in the music. And we need to listen to that, because they're telling on themselves all over the place. But if we don't have the eyes to see or the ears to hear, we just hum our way through life, and we're going to be unaware of these lightning strikes coming, and we want to be aware of them so we can, be separated from it, not walk through, a tree that's burning kind of thing. So on top of that Egg of Life, we get the 10 of Earth. Perfect timing. Yes. Give me a moment here. We got the moon, the sun, and planets. Or the sun or the moon. Is that the moon? I don't know. Kind of looks like the sun. Give me a moment here. I feel like, they're making me aware of otherworldly things, okay? Now, whatever that means to you, adapt that phrase. Now, we're all in rotation is what they're saying. Now, give me a moment. Meaning that we are a focal point here in the bigger scheme of things, okay? And there is a time and a place for everything. And we're working slowly towards that grand reveal, okay? From outer realms. How far can I go here? But if you listen to my stuff, you know that there's, how would I say it? There's a realm of information that is outside of what I truly speak about. And that outer realm is not so far off of the angelic realm itself. Okay, so we're talking about that. There's a lot of eyes on the earth, and there's a lot of energy being put on the earth, and there's a lot of energy coming from the earth. So we're just being aware of that this time, okay? So yeah, we'll just be aware of that, will we? Now that was on top of the egg of life, 3D, music, acceleration, talking about look to your physical plane for signposts. So if you're one that likes synchronicities and loves that, well, hang on because it's coming. And I'll tell you, when you are in a mode, and I don't know exactly how I got into the mode of accepting. I think it was just a calm state of mind, a neutral, being in neutral, and just all of a sudden, stuff was coming my way. So it wasn't overly happy or positive. It wasn't negative. It was just in a zone where you're kind of just there, existing and witnessing. And boom, it just started coming at me. So, again, we have to kind of be on that plane of calm and, how would you say, receptive, and you will receive kind of thing. This is going to accelerate. So if you've had these synchronicities in your life during this 2 week period or whatever, or you're just coming across, this will increase in frequency, meaning it will increase in the amount that comes at you, and also the timing. It's you're gonna ask a question and get an answer right away, because it's like it's there that quick. Okay, now we'll move into the third row of the Metatron cards. The Chariot, talking about celestial magic coming at you. It's moving in very quickly, coming to the Mother Earth, and all its contents are going to be spilled upon that which is walking on the earth. Now, the Metatron card that we have on top of the Chariot is red. Energy, action, and desire. Boy, we stay with that fire element. I'm saying stay because of the last reading, that lady with the candle. And it's the maiden, not the crone and not the queen. It's the maiden of that energy. So she's just learning she's just being introduced how to accept this stuff coming in, this energetic field, this, extra dimension of stuff. It really is what it is. It's an extra dimensional layer that you're being introduced to, and it is there for your highest good for you to utilize smartly as you go forward. And again, there will be people in rejection of this, not in belief system, so they will not benefit from it because they will not believe that it is real, therefore they can't accept it, or refuse to accept it, all of this stuff. The red energy in action and desire, that speaks to me of a spiral of energy coming out on the earth here, and us grabbing hold of that and utilizing that in every way that we can forward. The synchronicities, the oddities, like you say something and then you get an answer from the song on the radio, like, what? That answers, and then they disregard. Never mind, I've been in this field before. I was of that field. Absolutely. You got to start somewhere. You got to start refusing it, and then you start going, wait a minute. That answer. And then you start writing it down, then you start and then eventually you start living with it. You start going with it. You start utilizing it in your flow. And that's when you are getting in gear to engage in that Merkaba energy, where the universe starts to come down into the physical, and then we merge, and then we evolve quicker, faster, that's like taking the, what do you call those moving steps? The escalator instead of walking. And for some people, it may be from laying down, because I feel like that's what happened in, I say a past life, but it was this life. I had a lot of depression that just stopped me dead in the tracks. Like you're just a ball under a tarp. And I literally had, energies like literally pull me out of that. So I don't know if that happens to everybody in that same way or what the deal is, but it's going to feel like that. It's going to feel like somebody pulling you out of a big black dark hole. And if you resist, they will allow you to stay. But there's a certain point where we can no longer. And those points are getting fewer and fewer, meaning the points where you can get out are getting fewer and fewer. And eventually, if you want that lane bad enough, they will allow you to live that lane. And it's not a great way to go. So energy, action, and desire, this is all energy that's moving into the future here, negative or positive, frankly. And as we get to the Mother Earth card, what does Metatron have to say about that? We have a complex rectangle. Okay. Because the Mother Earth, right? We got the mother, the womanly figure, the compassion, the caring, and the healing comes with that. The urge to do that on the physical plane. And my complex rectangle always brings me into the depths of hell. Now, bear with me here as I try and explain this. Because we have the red and the right next to the complex rectangle. And even though those are like tentacles that they have to hit you and pull you down, there's also slippage. They gave me the word slippage. There's also room for slippage here. Meaning that we have a thick cloud of fog that we're coming from. It's not easy to see our way clearly. And some of us will be grabbed by one or two tentacles to go in the opposite direction. And some will simply slide down that rectangle of hell and go right into it willingly. And again, maybe not understanding the complete picture here on all levels, but nonetheless, that's the thing. Now they want me to go. So we started this row right in the center with the Star of David talking about glory and perseverance. And again, persevering to try and get through that thick fog in order to come across a better day. Unfortunately, now is the time where these lightning strikes are happening. So now we may have, the scenery, we may be able to see our decisions more clearly, but it's more frightening because there's lightning strikes happening. And they're showing me someone kind of running in fear, right? So when we are in fear, we are more susceptible to going into darkness unknowingly, right? Mother Earth is here to offer the rich harvest and the energy. But if we are in fear, we may choose to go in an opposite direction unknowingly, or we could choose to go in an opposite direction knowingly, not feel fully and completely healed. And a lot of people that are unhealed, unfortunately, will be unprocessed, meaning they will not be allowed to it's not an allowance. They're correcting me. It's an inability to increase the frequency to a degree where we can allow this energy in any longer, right? It's just too far out of our belief system, out of our comfort zone, out of whatever. It's too far. So when we have this perseverance, but we may not allow that energy in. This is the complex rectangle brings us to the sliding into the darkness. Now give me a moment here. Yeah, those in high refusal would apply here. So there's just an acknowledgement that right in the middle of this week here, or whenever you get this is not necessarily time sensitive, because you'll be attracted to this information when you utilize it. And some people utilize it right now in 2025. Some will utilize it later, maybe the flip of the year. Some people utilize it 2-3 years down the road. Wherever you get from there, that will be the time span of when this energy unfolds. So there is an awareness here of darkness and those that are running directly into it to avoid being and connecting to the higher frequencies. Okay, now the last row, the egg of life, 3D music, acceleration, the earth plane, perfect timing. There is a perfect time for those to be infused with the higher frequency, and you can't push things too soon. And they're making me aware of that. They're like, I had some realizations this past week, and they were like, okay, so let's look over our week. And if we had introduced this kind of energy back there, where would we be? And I said, yeah, I wouldn't have understood because I didn't have the background information. It's like you don't have, what's the call? The instructions. When you have the instructions, the pictures, whatever you need, some people go by words to put things together. Like if you get a shelving unit, some people need the graphics. Some people need to utilize both. Some people just don't look at the directions and they just start going. You know, it's in this way. This is that they're making me feel about how everything will be in perfect alignment for the merging of these energies at this time, and all you on different levels will all see that in a different way, and that's fine. That's all good. So perfect timing for the earth plane to have some acceleration going on. Why? Let's see what the last card is, because it's a complex circle. Okay, that's interesting. Because they're going, just like this week is going to be the epitome of dark energy striking. Unfortunately, it's not where they want it to go. This complex circle is talking about all the energy strikes that are coming from above or otherworldly, right? That are counteracting that trip to hell kind of thing, you know? Yeah, that's nice and comforting. I like that feeling. That's good because there's more angles here. They're making me aware. They're going, look at all the points here of light coming to the earth, and it's underneath the earth, the literal sphere. Like this last row is the egg of life is a sphere. The earth is a sphere, and the complex circle, a sphere, right? So it's all in line with the earth and its trajectory to increase in vibration, right? We've been doing this all along. There's nothing new, and it's going to continue as we go forward to varying degrees. Now, it's complex rectangle. That's like putting a round peg in a square hole. You can't do it. You can't put the positive in the negative if they refuse to do so, right? But you can shave off those edges and change who you are. You can make yourself a circle and go in that way. But there's a lot of people going to refuse to do this. And this is going to be illuminated over this time. Now, they asked me to bring out the dragons. And I had a very heavy feeling that, yes, we either have these abilities or we're going to need them drastically during this week. Now, the dragon that we got is the water dragon. Helps you flow easily around obstacles. Christ light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities and go with flow. Well, that kind of goes along with things because along with that round energy that we're going into, which is smooth, right? When you have wind and you're talking about like wind resistance, a sphere is just going to glide around it. There's no sharp edges. There's nothing to, it just kind of moves around it. Just like water. If you have like, how would you say it? Like an angle in the water, it would create waves. Or if you have a sphere, it'll create less of a combustive energy, right? And they're making me aware as well. They're going, that combustive energy, we've had that already come into the field. That negative energy, it was in the field last week. That's why that heavy fog, because this is where it transmutes into new frequencies. Now, those that were putting upon negative energy, and that could be from the little guy playing with magic to big communities of people in negative energy putting out shit. It's all in the spectrum, right? All of it, from soup to nuts, it's all in there. All that energy has been put in the field. And that's why you had the week you had last week, which is kind of like, I don't know, like you can't get your brain to work. You can't like things aren't going right. And then, just it's out in the field. So if we're talking about a negative energy with a purpose, it's going to go out there. Now, Mother Earth has come in the middle of this reading and she is saying, and no more. That we are not allowing for fog. We're not allowing for, but unfortunately, there's got to be a reversal of this energy. There's got to be a breakdown of this energy in order to clear the skies. And this is why we have this thunderstorm, because when you have a weather front coming in that's warm with the weather front that's coming in that's cold, that's what creates all the chaos. That's what creates the wind and the blizzards and the rainstorms and lightning and thunder, right? And when I was talking to them about bringing in the lightning and thunder, they're going, that would make sense to us because it is not without consequence, this negative energy. Even though it does not go where it's intended to go on the negative fronts. On the positive fronts, people are putting out positive energy. That's going directly where it needs to go. Keep that up, double down on that shit. But the stuff that's in the negative fields, because this is the separating of the waters, so to speak, okay? Because that energy has been put into the field. Some, I think, I don't know, give me a minute here. Yeah, they show me in ways I can't even express, like graphs and energy waves and whatnot. It really has a very diverse system of processing how and who it comes from and how much energy they've put into the field, all this stuff, right? And that's that spectrum I was talking about. No matter what, that energy is pooled. It was in our last week. It is now being by Mother Earth processed. It is being rerouted in the proper laneways. So I mean, they told me to use the word karma. When you use the word karma, this is that energy going to where the root is, because the ultimate truth will be seen. Not only how do I express? Because I feel like I don't think I keep saying this in history. We've never had the clarity, the vibrational frequencies. We've never had the alignment that we do now for anything. Otherworldly contact. We've never had it. All this stuff, or to the degrees where we can understand it or do anything with it. Now this is all being balanced out. And because of that, this energy is going karmically where it needs to be. So the complex circle and the complex rectangle, and here I see is opposing forces, and it's funny that the red energy is in that spiral shape, right? Because we have the red action energy, the complex rectangle, and the complex circle. And the red action is going to where Mother Earth is guiding us. Okay? And the square is what don't belong. It's three don't belong. You know what I mean? The circle can fit with that complex circle, but the rectangle don't fit. It don't fit in here. There's, and we want it to be a smooth, glowing orb, this kind of thing. Okay. Nice. Okay. So the water dragon, let me tap into that more. Water, of course, with the air bubbles and the 3 fish and the 1, 2, 4 fish and the lionfish. Don't you know? It's interesting because the dragon's taking note of that lionfish, right? And I feel like the dragon is kind of like those other worldly. Now, don't get me wrong here when you're talking about reptiles and stuff. There's a negative and a positive, but again, not all negative are negative, not all positive are positive. It's just like the earth plane. But I get a compassionate sense from this water dragon. The eyes are not threatening. He's looking at that lionfish, and the lionfish is like a toxic fish. And they're just looking at it and allowing it to go forth, right? It's just, there's something to be said for that energy. It's like we can see the negative, but we're allowing them because we have so much more power on the positive side than the negative side here. So again, helps you flow easily around obstacles. I feel like coming out of the fog now, we're going to see the obstacles, and if we follow, right? If we follow the synchronicities, if we follow the universal flow wanting us to weave in and out of things, we will easily go around the obstacles. A lot of this energy is talking about Christ, light, and love that are flowing to you. And also, if you're developing psychic abilities, go with the flow there as well. And, continue to work and inquire about those things so that you can develop them further. Because these will only accelerate the acceleration process, right? So that's where we're going. Okay. So that's the initial reading here. What am I at? I'm at 47 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk this into two different readings. So I'll end that there. That's the card reading. And then we'll get into the second part, which will be more the channeled conversations that I've had with, again, I work with Metatron and Michael, mostly Metatron, and other guides here that come in when needed. So I will end the session here. I'll reload with the channeled part in part 2. So take care, guys. Have fun and be kind, and we will talk to you soon.